birds screeching into the sky. Dasa, his heart pounding in his chest, felt a surge of adrenaline, the primal instinct to fight or flee warring within him. He knew that he was no match for the raw power of the two Tyrannosaurus Rex, yet the thought of abandoning Dole, of leaving his family unprotected, was unthinkable. He gripped his knife tighter, his gaze darting between the two massive creatures, his mind racing for a solution, a way to intervene without becoming collateral damage in their prehistoric battle. Dole, her maternal instincts overriding any fear, charged forward, her massive head lowered, her jaws snapping shut with enough force to crush bones. The male, caught off guard by her ferocity, reared back, its own roar cut short as his teeth, grazed its snout, drawing blood that splattered onto the ferns like crimson paint. The air filled with the sounds of their battle, the deafening roar of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the sickening thud of flesh against flesh, the snapping of jaws, and the crashing of trees as the two behemoths slammed into each other with bone-jarring force. Dole, her movements a blur of scaled muscle and primal fury, fought with the ferocity of a mother protecting her young. She dodged the male's snapping jaws, her own teeth finding perches on his flanks, leaving deep, ragged wounds that oozed blood. The male, its initial aggression waning in the face of her relentless assault, stumbled backward, its roars turning into bellows of pain and frustration. Finally, sensing defeat, the male turned and fled, disappearing into the mist-shrouded jungle, leaving a trail of blood and trampled vegetation in its wake. Dole, her sides heaving, her chest slick with blood, let out a triumphant roar, a sound that echoed through the trees, a sound that proclaimed her as the victor, the protector of her adopted family. The mist, as if mirroring the receding tension, began to dissipate, revealing the extent of the battle. Broken branches littered the ground and the air hung heavy with the coppery scent of blood. Dole, her massive head held high, her gaze sweeping the surrounding jungle, stood guard over her family, a symbol of unwavering loyalty and primal strength. Dasa, his heart still pounding, watched as she approached. Her rumble, a low, reassuring sound that spoke of safety, of a bond forged in the crucible of danger, a bond that transcended the boundaries of species. He reached out a hand, his fingers brushing against her rough scales, a gesture of gratitude and respect for the creature who had risked her life to protect his family. Days turned into weeks, each sunrise a testament to their resilience, each sunset a victory against the relentless challenges of their prehistoric odyssey. The jungle, once a labyrinth of unknown dangers, was slowly revealing its secrets to them. Dasa, his hunting skills honed by necessity, was able to track and bring down small game, their flesh providing much-needed sustenance. Maya, her knowledge of edible plants expanding with each passing day, gathered roots, berries, and fruits. Their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the muted greens of the forest floor. Dole, their constant guardian, their protector against the unseen dangers that lurked in the undergrowth, had settled into a routine, her maternal instincts extending beyond the immediate needs of Dasa and Maya's children to encompass the small family unit as a whole. She was their shield against the predators, their guide through the dense undergrowth, their anchor in a world that was as beautiful as it was brutal. The children, their laughter echoing through the ancient trees, were thriving in this wild, untamed environment. They had adapted to the rhythm of the jungle, their senses attuned to the subtle changes in light, sound, and scent that signaled the approach of danger or the promise of food. They played amongst the giant ferns, their tiny hands reaching out to touch the delicate petals of exotic flowers, their laughter a testament to the enduring power of innocence and wonder. They were making their way through a particularly dense section of the jungle, the air thick with the scent of decaying vegetation and the musk of unseen animals. Giant trees, their trunks wider than Dole was tall, formed a natural cathedral overhead, their branches intertwining to create a canopy so thick that only slivers of sunlight managed to penetrate the gloom. The air hung heavy and still, devoid of the usual symphony of bird calls and rustling leaves, a silence that pressed down on the Cretaceous like a physical weight. Dasa, his senses on high alert, felt a prickle of unease. He had learned to trust his instincts, honed by generations of hunters who had relied on their wits and their senses to survive in this unforgiving environment. He motioned for Maya and the children to stay close to Dole, his hand resting reassuringly on the hilt of his bone-handled knife, his eyes scanning the undergrowth for any sign of movement, any hint of the danger he could sense lurking beneath the surface of the forest's deceitful calm. As if in answer to his unspoken fears, two shapes detached themselves from the shadows, their movements fluid and predatory, their eyes gleaming with a cold, reptilian intelligence that sent a shiver down Dasa's spine. They were raptors, their sleek feathered bodies built for speed and agility, their sickle-shaped claws glinting in the dim light. Dasa's blood ran cold. He had heard tales of these creatures from the village elders, tales whispered around flickering firelight, tales that spoke of their cunning, their ferocity, their pack mentality that made them a formidable enemy even for a hunter as skilled as himself. He knew that he stood little chance against them, not with Maya and the children to protect. The raptors fanned out, flanking them, their movements so swift and silent that they seemed to glide through the undergrowth, their bodies blending seamlessly with the shadows, their eyes never leaving their intended prey. Dasa felt a surge of protectiveness, a primal urge to shield his family from the danger he knew was about to be unleashed. One of the raptors, its eyes fixed on Maya, who cried out in alarm, lunged its jaws open wide, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. The other, its gaze fixed on the child clinging to Maya's back, mirrored its companion's movements, its body a coiled spring ready to unleash its deadly potential. In that moment, as if sensing their fear, their vulnerability, Dole reacted with a speed that belied her massive size. She roared, a sound that shook the very foundations of the jungle, a sound that reverberated through the air, a sound that spoke of primal fury and unwavering protection. Her massive body, a seemingly impenetrable wall of scales and muscle, slammed into the raptors, sending them sprawling across the jungle floor. They hissed and screeched, their bodies twisting in midair as they attempted to regain their footing, their eyes burning with a mixture of surprise and now renewed aggression. Dole, her tail thrashing, her jaws snapping shut with bone-crushing force, stood guard over her adopted family, her massive form a shield against the relentless assault. The raptors, their initial attack thwarted, regrouped, circling Dole.